Hey, it's Jaden.
And Melissa.
And Christy.
We're
the co-founders of Launchers Academy.
And we help dropshippers become successful by providing the most relevant e-commerce strategies.
You're tuning into the Launchers Academy podcast experience,
where you will learn all the ins and outs of how to build your very own successful dropshipping store.
So kick back, take lots of notes, and let's make money this year. Welcome guys back to another episode. So today we have a really good one. We're going to be talking over, a couple points of exactly why you're not getting sales in advertising. So I'm going to let my co-founders, ladies first, and talk about, a couple points that, they see, that we've seen, that we're running ads, and also for our students that were running ads of why they weren't getting the sales that they wanted, or, why they did get sales. But after a while, it started to slow down, as what we call is ad fatigue. So I'll let you start off there, Melissa. What are 1 or 2 points that you can bring up that you've seen a lot of our students or our personal experiences of why our ads don't seem to convert as well as we wanted to?
Great question. So before I really dive into the couple of tips and why we're not seeing, people getting sales for both our students as well as people in the industry, going back, a very quick recap is we are doing Facebook ads for advertising for dropshipping. And the reason why is because Facebook ads is the best in terms of the advertising algorithm and being able to spend lower budget in order to actually get high quality clients and being able to spend lower budget in order to get more sales. So that's why Facebook is the king of all advertising, and that's why we use Facebook advertising. So going back to, why we are seeing a lot of people don't actually get sales, even though they put a lot of money into Facebook ads, the biggest reason that we see is because they do not actually have a Facebook strategy going into it. Basically, what we see a lot of people doing is they throw money at these Facebook ads hoping that they're going to get sales, but they don't actually know what they're doing. They don't understand what a pixel is. They don't understand, what the next steps is for Facebook ads, whether you should increase your budget, duplicate, or create different, strategies around getting more sales. Instead, just target a keyword that is mostly, a very, very big keyword that a lot of people are also targeting. So one of the things that you have to also understand is that Facebook is an auction place. So if you are targeting these big keywords that a lot of other players in the industry, mainly large brands who are also targeting, then you as a much smaller player with a lower ad budget is not going to be able to compete with all these bigger brands out there. So that's a huge thing. But I'll pass it off to Christy to talk about the next couple ones.
Yeah, that was a great point there that you gave, Melissa. So for me, I would say in terms of the audience, people aren't too clear at who they want to target with their ads. And oftentimes, if you try to target too many people, you end up, targeting no one really. So really clarifying on the audience as well as understanding Facebook's number of audience on the Facebook and understanding their stats and everything, that's when you can really target your ads towards specific groups of people, specific niches, so that you can really also, when you come up with your ad creative, also appeal to this target audience that you want to sell your products to as well.
I love that. And you guys brought up a lot of great points. So, those are a couple of things of what not to do. So, Melissa, you brought up the fact that people don't really know what they're doing. They don't have a strategy. And Christy, you're bringing up kind of like your creative and really being able to identify your audience. So let's piggyback on that. I'll start with you there, Melissa. So what are what's the importance of strategy? And for the person listening today, you listening, you're probably like, what are these strategies? Where are for someone that's completely new, where would they start? How would they find these strategies if they weren't able to afford a mentorship or actually invest into a course?
Very good question. I mean, the number one place of free resources is Google. So I would say at least understanding what a Facebook. A lot of times people don't actually understand Facebook advertising to begin with. So starting off, I would say before you even get to the actual strategy part is just understanding how Facebook advertising works, how the algorithm works, what Facebook advertising actually is. And I mentioned earlier, it's actually an auction place. So once you actually understand that, then that's where you start to wanting to learn the strategies. So the number one place I would say is understand how Facebook advertising works by going to Facebook Blueprint and Googling that up. That is pretty much a free course that Facebook themselves provide to advertisers who are using their platform to advertise, and use that to understand how it works first. And you'll be able to start, learning a little bit of strategy there. But then later on, starting to Google a little bit more into what the different strategies are available. And then from there, you're able to kind of refine and test different pieces out, see what actually works, what doesn't work, and then from there refine even further.
I love that. So you listening, the best starting point for you, as Melissa's brought up, is really taking the time to go to Google, type in Facebook's ad blueprint. This is pretty much their whole entire guideline and walkthrough of exactly what you should be doing and what you should not be doing. So that's something that you really want to get familiar with, because this is going to save you tens and thousands of dollars down the road, because you want to be able to at least follow their guidelines, because the worst thing you want to do is when you're advertising a platform and they get blocked, and not knowing what not to do and what to do is really going to help you get there. And trust us telling you, it's not fun getting disabled when you wake up one day. So with that being said, Christy, you brought up a great point, is really understanding the specific audience you want to target. What are like one or two steps of how someone can sit down today, them listening, to be able to really find that specific, audience as a starting point for them to target?
Yeah, that's a great one to cover as well for those of you that are wanting to know a bit more about how to define the target audience. So number one, I would say to really go through Facebook's audience and see, look up some keywords related to your product, and then see which groups have the most interest within this keyword that you're searching up. So that's when you know that which group is also going to be your main target audience. So oftentimes in Facebook, actually a lot of the audience is women. Women tend to do most shopping, so a lot of your ad videos would likely be targeting women, within the ages of 25 to 65. Those are oftentimes the groups that do the most shopping. And if you really dig into Facebook's data, you can find a lot of different insights about these people. And then when you're targeting within your ads, you can focus your ad creatives around these specific groups.
I love that. And Christy brought up something that's super important, is ad creative and video ads. So one of the reasons why we find, and we see a lot of students, not seeing the results that they want to see when it comes to running ads, and you listening, one of the biggest reasons amongst many of the reasons is running video ads. So there's two types of ads you can run on Facebook. There's stills, which are images, and then there are videos. Where you don't see the results are the ones that are advertising images. So if you find yourself not seeing the results because you've already ran ads and you've chosen an image to really showcase your product, that's probably why you're not getting the sales. Because here's the thing, there's limitations for you running an image ad. And I find that when images ad works is when you have an actual brand. Like, people know about you, you have an actual social following, and you're credible. Like, for example, if Apple ran a picture of someone holding their iPhone, they'll probably get sales because they've already spent the last 3 decades building their brand. So it doesn't matter what they run. Or even if you have a big social following or loyal community, you run an image ad, that's going to convert well for you. But as you're starting out, because in the spirit of why you're not getting sales on, advertisement, and especially if you're new in dropshipping, it's because you're not running video ads. So the best thing about video ads is because people that are coming across your ad, people learn visually. So you need to be able to visually kind of break down, the problems of why someone would buy your product, and also the benefits that you can give to them, because people buy benefits, not features and functions, okay? Super important for you guys to understand why you're not getting any sales in advertising is not understanding the importance of not really selling features and functions, selling the problems and the benefits to really solve that. So a video ads, the two biggest point that we're going to bring up, and also kind of tune back because we will be hosting an episode just talking about video ads and, what we've seen work and what doesn't work. So tune into the later episodes. But, with video ads, you're able to really showcase a product visually, breaking down step by step of how it works, what it does, and really getting the person to imagine themselves having that product to solve their everyday problem. So, with that, also more importantly is because, when you're advertising, it's all a game of data. So when it comes to data, a video, you're able to actually extract a lot more data than an image. And in terms of retargeting, because once you get to the point where there's a lot of people that are coming across your website, showing interest, but do not make a purchase, those are pretty much customers that are warm that you can spend money to try to attract them again and then see if they can purchase. And a video gives you more data in order for you to actually target specific people, whereas an image, it really doesn't. So one of the biggest things we find is that video ads are really super important, which we'll kind of dive in more. But typically, if you're not running a video and you're running an image and you don't have to make a big brand, that's probably why. Because people learn visually and they need to be able to kind of see how the product works, and an image won't give them that. So, with that being said, that's kind of like, a couple of reasons why you're not getting sales and advertisement. So to kind of like, sum it up, Melissa was just saying really not understanding strategies and understand the platform itself. So in this case, we're telling you Facebook and Instagram, and then Christy say not understanding your audience. Okay, and I'm telling you video ads. Now, let's talk about what we've seen that's been done wrong when it comes to, advertising and from our personal experiences outside of everything we just say. What would be like one tip that we can give them that we've seen people done wrong there, Melissa?
Yeah, so it goes back to, refining a little bit more on what Christy was saying earlier, but not fully understanding who your customer avatar is. So doing a little bit of research and really diving in to understand who you are targeting and who are the actual potential buyers of your product is so important, because understanding who your customer is literally the first step before you even start creating the ad creatives, before you even start creating the ad copy. Because whenever you start advertising to your potential customers, it needs to speak to them. So when they read it, they're like, okay, that is the problem that I am having, and this ad is literally speaking to me, and I'm going to go buy that product. So fully understanding who you are selling your product to, what problem you are helping them solve, and why their life is going to transform because of your product is going to help you so much in terms of just getting them to watch the full ad video and clicking onto your website to get that sale in hand.
I love that. And I want to kind of throw this to Christy. So you're really great at optimizing websites. So websites, your store really contributes a lot to whether you're going to make a lot of sales or you're going to make no sales. What's one nugget that we can throw to the person listening today of how to be able to optimize their website better? What's one nugget we can throw to help them convert more sales when it comes to advertising?
That's a great one. One nugget that I would let the audience know is a lot of new dropshippers, when they start putting together their website, they tend to add so many images, videos and big files of GIFs and everything, and it really slows down the site. And you really want your site to load within less than 3 seconds, especially people are looking through ads, especially on mobile. And their attention span is so low, and you don't want to keep them waiting for your content to load, because they will bounce, which means they leave the page right when they go on into it. And you don't want that, because you want them to go through your content and making sure that it loads within 3 seconds so that they can really digest the content of your product and see your customer reviews and everything to understand your product better. And then that's when you can really get that sale from them.
I love that. So, Christy brought up a great point that a lot of e-commerce people are not aware of, or a lot of, these experts and coaches out there don't talk about, but load speed is super important. So, just like Christy mentioned, you want to make sure your speed is, loading faster than 3 seconds. And how you can do that is go to a website. It's called gtmetrics.com. So GT metrics, METRIX is in xylophone. Go to that, plug into your website, and then see how fast it loads. And if it doesn't load as fast, what are 2 things that they can do outside of images to really help optimize their speed?
You can download some apps within Shopify that are, there are some image optimization apps. You can also go on to some websites to also upload any images or clips to make sure that they are compressed and optimized and at a lower loading speed. And also just jumping back to, in terms of the apps as well, I'm not downloading way too too many apps actually with the Shopify. So keeping the number of apps at a minimum. If you do have a lot of apps, you already started your store and you already downloaded a lot of apps, then we recommend working with a developer to help you clean up some of that code, and also set up lazy loading, which allows your images to be loaded as it's being scrolled, and that also helps with enhancing the speed.
I love that. So those are two things that, brought up by Melissa and Christy that we've seen, a lot of people are not aware of. I would just say it's kind of piggybacking off what Melissa was bringing up, which is super valuable to really kind of take note of. But one of the biggest key mistakes I've seen a lot of people do when it comes to advertising, out of the many things, but being able to really, hone this, zero in on this is going to make the world of a difference. But what Melissa said is being able to really paint out the picture of the many problems that a consumer has. Like actually paint out a picture, because why do people buy things? Why do people are willing to give up their hard-earned dollars to you or to any company or product? It's because it solves some kind of problem, whether it's small or whether it's big. But being able to really identify and call out and paint out that problem that your ideal customer has, going back to what Chrissy was saying, really being able to, figure out your specific audience to advertise to, but being able to really understand them so well, you can point out the problems and then hook them in within that video or within your advertising campaign, the benefits that your product offers to that specific person. And here's my big tip for you guys. In order to win in advertising, 80% of your revenue would be coming from 20% of your specific ideal client avatar. Don't focus on the whole, the person that markets to everyone, markets to no one. So if you're able to be very specific, that's where you win. So, with that being said, those are a couple of reasons and nuggets of exactly why you're not getting sales in advertising. But I want, pass it around to Melissa and Christy and kind of share funny stories that we stumbled upon when we're running ads. So I would start off first and saying the funny story that we stumbled upon was probably we were creating our own videos and we really didn't know how to create videos in the first place. So we would, we would just kind of watch different videos, and then I think at the first bit, we were paying someone to do it, but we didn't really know how to do videos ourselves. So we're just kind of relying on someone to tell us that this works. And evidently, it didn't really work out so well. And then once we actually invest into a mentor, just like, wow, this is what a video actually consists of. This is how it actually works. And it kind of goes back to what Melissa was saying. Not having a strategy, not knowing what to do, and actually being told what works and what not works. But yeah, we were just paying some guy that we thought he knew what he was doing, and he gave us a video. We thought it looked super cool, but then again, we don't have the knowledge of what a good video looks. So we thought it was pretty funny that after we did invest into a mentor, just like, wow, what a world of a difference in terms of the video. But it does really make a huge difference knowing the key components of how to construct a video. But what do you would say one funny episode or a funny story we had when we were doing it there, Melissa?
Yeah, you just reminded me of a super funny story. So the first video the three of us ever created was for the first product we ever launched. And Jaden, if you guys don't already know, he actually has a background in YouTube, so he has video editing skills. And he was in the film industry before. So he took charge in actually managing this video project that we were doing, where we were creating our first ad together. What we did was we actually ordered the product ourselves and brought it home to our own homes, and then each of us recorded a 10 to 15 second clip of us either using the product or doing like a review of the product, and then Jaden later on put together the different clips together. And it's so funny because I actually forgot that we did that.
Did it work out?
I mean, we got sales. So yes, in a way it did. And I mean, it all comes back to, understanding that customer avatar, right? So in hindsight, it is a little bit cringy because it was our first video and there were a lot of things that we could have done better now that we think about it. But at the same time, it was a really funny experience that we had. I think that was the only video that we ever filmed for that one product. And then later on, we started, being more professional, less DIY-y, either like we started later on having our own in-house team, but then hiring more professionals to actually edit our videos and all of that. But that was a funny one there.
And here's a little secret. Melissa and Christy, my two partners here, they're actually camera shy. So, Christy, how did you feel when you recorded yourself talking about the product and now your face is all over the world?
Yeah, it was honestly, I did that shot probably like 50 times, trying to rehearse exactly what to talk about and what the audience would want to hear. So it was definitely really fun to do, just to try to get yourself out there. And it was a really new experience to see my face being in an ad video. Yeah.
Yeah, that was quite an interesting experience. But yeah, all the pretty much the journey of becoming an entrepreneur, owning your own first business or running your own first business, and getting into the world of e-commerce. You do what it takes, right? And so we shot our own videos because just like we can just say exactly what we need to say, provided that we actually use the product. But it was pretty funny. I didn't know what I was doing. I've edited videos before, but that was more like lifestyle and YouTube content, but not actual e-commerce. So I didn't really know what I was doing. But yeah, that was a little funny experience with us. But with that being said, those are our tips and nuggets of exactly why you're not getting sales or converting when you're advertising. So if you want to be able to increase your volume of sales, if you want to be able to really maximize the amount of dollars you're spending when you are advertising, optimizing everything and going over everything that we just told you and listening to this a couple of times is going to save you hundreds, if not thousands of dollars. And really at the end of the day, what you want to be able to, grab out of this is that there's no one specific key component that's telling you why or showing you why you're not getting the sales or the data that you want. It's the whole picture itself. Like imagine a car. Right? You're not going to look at a car and it's broken down or it doesn't work because there's one specific part or anything. It's probably the whole car as a whole. So if you remove a specific bolt or a specific, wiring or et cetera, it's not going to let the car function the way it's supposed to. So look at the picture as a whole. If you're able to really, be able to fix everything and really make it smooth as possible, that's where you're going to have a well-oiled machine. But with that being said there, guys, tune into the next episode. More importantly, if you're a little confused about video ads because you've never ran any video ads, you want to kind of learn more about our journey and what we've learned and what we now going back to it, knowing what we know, what we shouldn't be doing and wish we had been doing when we're editing our videos. But tune into the next episode. Until next time, guys, keep it up. Did you enjoy this episode?
If you did, which we believe you did, as we dropped a ton of value.
Support us by giving us a 5-star rating.
That's 5 stars, not 3, not 4, but 5 stars.
Also, we'd love to hear from you, so please leave your comment below.
And we'll be sure to get back to you. Take care, and until next time.